number 9 Alabama, they'll be making the field trip to Columbia, Missouri, a team that famously, I guess, gets made fun of for, I guess, being an awkward fit in terms of the culture of the SEC. But make no mistake, this Missouri team, very good in its own right, currently undefeated, sitting at 5-0 right now. They only have one SEC game that they played in. They had a solid non-conf though. They played Kansas pretty well, and Kansas is a good team in their own right. This game is taking place in Columbia, Missouri, and this is going to be a noon kickoff happening over in ABC. And as we mentioned, Missouri, they're coming into this contest undefeated, coming off a commanding win a couple of weeks ago. They were on bye last week, but a couple of weeks ago they played UMass, which some of you may consider that also another bye. And they won 42-6. They looked fine, but Missouri, this is going to be their biggest test this year, because Alabama under Kalen DeMoore, they have clearly shown that what happened with them in week number 1, that team is a different team than the team is in front of them right now. And I think that's evident in kind of some of the tests that they've had to endure over the last 2 to 3 weeks, playing against a ranked Georgia team, as well as playing against a ranked Vanderbilt team as well, going on the road for both, well, not both of those games, but, for one of them. And, not only did they win both, but they also covered in both games as well. And I think that's something to certainly be enamored with. Ty Simpson, that dude is a stud. He has certainly shown that what happened also in week number 1, that's not Ty Simpson's fault. And, should honestly be getting a little bit more discussions in terms of the overarching Heisman talk than what is being talked about. He's playing some exceptionally good football over there in Tuscaloosa right now. And the receivers are starting to step up as well. Ryan Williams is continuing to play at a pretty good level, but we have seen Jeremy Bernard really step up and make some big plays with this receiving core. The one thing that still concerns me a little bit is that run defense, and especially in allowing chunk plays, those explosive plays, particularly in the road. Those road concerns maybe have been alleviated a little bit, breaking one of the longer winning streaks at home that Georgia did have over the course of the regular season. But we did see that run defense continue to be an issue, and that was evident in Vanderbilt being able to find a way to get explosive runs, one of them being for a touchdown, and then Diego Pavia did also had a very substantial run upfield. Didn't lead to a touchdown, but it was like a 30-40 yard run. So those issues, I think, still are prevalent, and I don't know if that's something that could be fixed in time, especially for a team that does have a pretty dynamic running game. Missouri does counter with a major running threat. And it's not just Ahmad Hardy, the ULM transfer, who has been electric this year. Over 700 yards rushing on the ground. Looked to be one of the shiftier running backs, being able to break tackles and punish defenders in terms of his ability to be elusive. Bo Pribola in particular as well. Bo, was trying to wait his turn at Penn State. Obviously he's never going to overcome Drew Aller, so he transfers. And listen, he's been pretty fun to watch as well. Saw him play a couple of times. He looks pretty good. And not to mention his Missouri team, they also have a solid defense as well. Outside of the the one game that they played against Kansas, they know how to put teams in a box. This defense, that's a pretty good defense as well. And again, this game is happening at home, and it's going to be an electric environment. So if you're Alabama, I think it's going to be really important for you early on to maybe get those fast starts are obviously really important. And maybe get some unflappable drives in there so that you can quiet down this crowd, and not to mention being efficient on third downs and winning the turnover margin. If Alabama can do both, they're going to be able to leave Columbia with a win. But if the like the turnover margin is in favor of Missouri, or the Tigers are more efficient at third down than what Alabama is, maybe even they get some of those explosive plays on the ground, we could see a world where Missouri does pull the upset off on Alabama. So, with that said, let's pull up the model real quick. And listen, like I did mention, this is going to be one of those games where I think this is going to be the more competitive noon game that features 2 top 25 teams. FanDuel certainly agrees with me. Right now, FanDuel has it about 3.5 right now, so Alabama favored by a field goal. Model is a tad bit higher at 4.5, but either way, it's going to be a really competitive game. I will say this candidly, that even though Missouri hasn't necessarily been tested, and that also, in addition, they have not had the same resume as Alabama. They come in as the underdog. I do think that Missouri actually matches up really well, particularly with how well they played on the defensive side of the ball. Plus, I actually do think here that Ahmad Hardy can really take advantage of what has been an inconsistent front seven from the Crimson Tide. So, I'm actually going to go on a limb here for this particular top 25 matchup. I'm not going to just disagree with the model and say that Missouri is going to cover this 3.5 point spread. I'm actually going to take it one step further. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to see an upset happen in Columbia, Missouri on Saturday. I think Missouri is going to get a statement win, beat Alabama. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be a 27-24 type game. It's going to be hard fought, 4-quarter game. Be very surprised if this ends up being a blowout in either direction. But I think this is the type of game that we are going to see Missouri get some respect on its name. And I think that when this game is over, we are going to see the field storming ensue within the confines of the SEC. So Missouri is going to get a top 10 win against Alabama. I'm calling it here. Missouri wins 27-24. And they're not just going to win, but they're also covered. And that's one big statement around here. Good teams win, great teams cover. Missouri is going to show that they are a great team this upcoming Saturday. I feel it in my bones.